Alright, this video is going to show you how to properly shade, or what I like to call modeling. And modeling is shading that enhances 3D form. It's not just flat shading that does nothing to enhance the form. It has to reinforce the three-dimensional qualities of the object that you're drawing. So one of the key ingredients to good shading or modeling is being able to create a good gradient from dark to light. So that's the first thing we're going to practice. We're just going to draw a long rectangle about 1 inch high by maybe about 4 or 5 inches long or so. Just freehand that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start out here on the left. I'm starting on the left because I'm right-handed, so it's easier. And we want this area here, as we start shading, to be as dark as we can get with our pencil. So you're going to press hard. You're going to fill that in. Okay, this we want to go from black, basically, to white. We want to fade to white at this end. So I start out pressing hard, and I might, just go over maybe about a quarter inch, half inch or so, and then I'm going to start to lighten up on the pressure. And one thing you're going to notice as I shade, I'm gradually now moving my hand back further and further from the tip, so that I'm putting less weight on the tip, because I want a lighter value, I want less pressure. Now I may have this faded to white before I get to there. You don't have to stretch it all the way out to the other end. I'm just going to fade to white, whenever I can. So now I need to get really light, and I'm really going to slide my hand back with the eraser end in my palm. And I'm pretty much putting the weight on my hand now. And I'm just putting very little weight on the pencil. I'm using my thumb maybe and my finger a little bit. Don't put your finger on top like this. Don't put weight on top of the pencil. Okay, the only thing, you're going to grip it with the eraser when you're doing those lighter values. The eraser should be in your palm. You're gripping it. I know people grip their pencils all different ways, but you don't want to be on top. You don't want your hand on top. You want your hand almost underneath, or really on the side, so that the weight on the paper is on your hand, not on the pencil. And then you slowly lower your pencil, and you go very light. As you can see, I'm fading. I didn't really need to make my rectangle that long. I could have stretched it out if I wanted to, but just for the sake of time. And notice when I shade, I am not just going up and down, and I'm not just going side to side. I'm going multi-directional with my strokes, pencil strokes. And that's the best way to break up the pencil lines and get it to fade out. So if I was to do that over here, you don't have to do this, but I'm just by way of demonstration. I'll do this on a scrap piece of paper. Okay, my pencil strokes are kind of like all over the place, like this, as I'm shading. And what that does is, along the leading edge, this would be the leading edge if we're going from dark to light, this creates this broken, uneven edge, which creates the illusion of things breaking up and fading out. Okay, because this is the area where people struggle the most. They can't get it to fade to white. See, I can move my pencil all around. I can lift it right off the paper and not put any pressure on it. I'm not making a single mark. And then I just slowly lower it, so I'm hardly putting any pressure on it. My weight is on my hand, and I'm just kind of scratching over the surface there a little bit. And then you can go back in here and adjust it. If you see that, oh, I made a mistake here, I come in and I just do a little bit more pressure, do some multi-directional strokes in there to kind of blend that all in. What we're going for is shading, or a gradient, which is smooth and seamless. Smooth meaning that it's all blended in without using your finger, no finger shading. And seamless meaning that you can't separate one area, you can't see where one area ends and another one begins. What happens a lot of times when people shade, they like to go like this. They'll do one little area like this, and then they'll move on to the next, and they'll move on to the next, and the next, and the next, and so on. And you create these sections. You can see where one area ended, and those are seams. Okay, you shouldn't have those seams. You shouldn't be able to tell where one area ends and another begins. That's what I mean by seamless. And smooth, this is not smooth. This is kind of rough shading when you're first beginning. That's not finished shading. Yeah, that's shading, but that's not finished shading. That's rough. That's not smooth. Okay, and that's how you do your gradient. We also want our gradients to have good contrast. Okay, that's why I said start with the darkest value you can get, or black, and you want it to fade to white. So that gives you a broad range of values, a wide range of values from black at one end of the spectrum and white at the other end. So good contrast makes a drawing more dramatic. It enhances it. You see the same thing in black and white photography. So you want to make sure that you're going, in most cases, pretty dark. Maybe not, it's not always black. It all depends on the lighting and the situation. But you want to have that good contrast as well.